Hello, I'm Elle. Welcome to my channel. So, this channel is kind of not my main focus when it comes to creative outlets. But the thing is, I draw a lot, and Deltarune theories are surprisingly incredible background noise. So, yeah, I've been pestering my family with non-stop Deltarune rambles, and honestly, I think they are probably pretty sick of me. So yeah, I'm redirecting my rambles to YouTube now. You're welcome. Since Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4's release are on the horizon, this age of madness is about to end. And before it ends, I thought I would throw out some last-minute theories, even though I'm not, grounded on YouTube at all yet. But, whatever. So, yeah. Don't expect super frequent uploads. Subscribe if you want. Your dealio, and yeah, onto the video. Soft, fluffy, and helpful, this Prince of the Dark has been the suspicion of the majority of the Deltarune fan community for some time. With his flippant and avoidant attitude towards secret bosses and his clear knowledge of behind-the-scenes secrets, there is a clear wealth of mystery and intrigue behind this fluffy goat man, and I intend to try to accomplish two things in this video: to explain/predict who Ralsei is, what item he is, and why his name is an anagram of Asriel. Who is Ralsei? Or maybe the better question is, what is Ralsei? Or maybe an even better question, nobody ever seems to ask this, but how is Ralsei? Okay, yeah, no, but actually Ralsei is a Darkner, and as far as we know, Darkners have to be objects. We see this with Rules Card, Lancer, pretty much everyone, or not everyone, but we can link everyone back to a specific object. Lancer with the, Spade card, Rules Card with the literal Rules card, it goes back. Or Princess Pencil, which turns into a sword. There's just countless examples. So of course, that begs the question, what object is Ralsei? Well, while he is objectively, the best character, we actually don't know that much about him, including this detail, which seems like a pretty important detail. And because of this lack of knowledge, of course, the theorist side of the Deltarune fandom has taken it upon themselves to figure this out. And after scouring the game for any clues, I can never say this word, the consensus has mainly been a few options. The green crayon, honestly just kind of two options. The green crayon that has been, obviously you see this when you click on one of the drawers and it says it's been lost for a while or something like that. It's lost from the set. And the other one, the other prominent theory, is that he is the red horned headband. I'm going to be saying this a lot in this video, and it's painful. I keep on tripping over my words when I say that. You can see that line of dialogue when you're talking to Toriel. I think it's in chapter 1, but I could be wrong about that. And basically Toriel mentions a red headband that had horns on it that Chris used to wear a lot when they were younger, when they were a little kid. Of course, that comes with implications. There's also the piles of Asriel's dust theory, but I don't think I have to explain why I don't want to get into that. Firstly, let's go ahead and define our terms. Darkners are any being that is made from the dark. That includes Ralsei, secret bosses, basically anything that has been brought to life by a dark fountain. I am subscribing to the belief that the connotations the laners have on objects heavily influences or affects the way the object manifests in a dark fountain. Dark fountain. This idea I mainly took from the incredible absolute goat, Guilty Flygon, who made the video on the origins of Darkners, a Deltarune theory, which is linked in the description below for more context, if you want that. Go check out his video. He's great. All of his videos are great. He has a very unscripted feel that's honestly better than this more polished version in my opinion, because it's better to listen to, but you know, whatever. So, what object is he? Or more specifically, what do I think he is, and what do I think the clues are leading him to being? Because, of course, in this game we only have 2 parts of a whole. It's possible that some of this could become redundant, so just keep in mind that these are my opinions, and I'm happy to converse, discuss, and do some friendly argumentative work in the comments. Okay, enough stalling, I'll just go ahead and say it. I think Ralsei is the red headband. First, I'll explain why I think the green crayon is not Ralsei, then I'll give my evidence for the horned headband. That's hard to say. So, from what we can see from other darkeners take on the main correlations from what lighteners give them. That's a simplification, of course, but the main point stays the same. What would you expect a green crayon to be like as an entity? Well, obviously a whole lot of green. Stuff about drawing, maybe some kind of correlation with wax. That's all I can think of, at least. The main thing Ralsei has going for him, in correlation to the green crayon, is the fact that he has a green cloak and hat. That's something at least, but he has pretty much nothing to do with art, wax, or anything else that could be specifically tied to a crayon. The crayon is also just not super important. It could potentially be important, sure. It's an odd detail that sticks out a bit, and those are always red flags when it comes to theorizing. But overall, I think it's safe to say that Ralsei is probably not the green crayon. One of the only insights we get into Chris's life of the mind is the implications of the red horned headband. That is going to haunt me. Anyways, from this, we can see that they desperately want a place in monster kind, to be more than just accepted, to be one with the people around them. The red headband expresses everything they wanted to be and everything that they are not. It represents their want to be part of their family and physicality, and is ultimately a rejection of their humanity. Now, what do we see with Ralsei? He's a goat monster, which looks suspiciously similar to that of the Dreamer household. He's sweet, academic, kind, good at baking. He's a prince. He's obedient. He knows a lot. He's not mischievous. He's adorable. And his name is Ralsei. In context of him being the red headband, a lot of these basic traits start to make a whole lot of sense. He is a prince who would have been the son of a king, who is the king in Undertale, who literally owns a shop called the Flower King in Deltarune. Asgore. He's good at baking. Who else is great at baking? Toriel. Ralsei is literally a goat darkener thing. He has red or pink, I guess, horns, which actually change in the... Okay, but actually, no, hon. I'm going out of my narrator voice. They change in the portrait versus the sprite. And I don't know if you guys have noticed. I'm sure people have noticed this, but it annoys the absolute hell out of me. I don't know why it does this. But they're turned one way in the sprite, and then they're turned a different way. And anyways, back to the theory. Overall, if you were to plop him in the Dreamer household without really changing anything, he would fit right in perfectly into their little family circle. The real point of all this that I want to try and explain is I think he's the red horned headband, and additionally why his name is an anagram of Azrael. This, of course, has been such a big subject of contention in the fan community of Deltarune, and I totally get it if you disagree. But here are my thoughts. Ralsei is who Chris wishes they were. Someone who was smart and kind and actually looked like the rest of their family. Someone whose name fits with the family as well. We have Asgore and Toriel, which make Azrael. Now, what is a logical progression of that trend? Mixing and putting together the letters to form a new name. A name that is an anagram of their older brother's name. Azrael to Ralsei. For me, this makes a lot of sense. Just listen to it for a moment and tell me which one sounds better. Toriel, Asgore, Azriel, and Ralsei. Or Toriel, Asgore, Azriel, and Chris. Chris's name ultimately sticks out. It doesn't sound like it belongs, while Ralsei kinda does. Of course, that's subjective, but to me at least, it does. I believe that the idea of Ralsei is who Chris wishes they could have been. It's almost like Ralsei was like Chris's little kid self-insert OC or something. But anyways, the funny thing is that ultimately, while trying to create an identity that fits them, it never even truly worked. One of the big things I feel like is a theme in Deltarune that may need a video of its own, if y'all seem to like this one, that is that Deltarune's characters are all operating in a sort of false identity, or lack of identity at all. Chris and Ralsei both lack any sense of identity. Chris is a bit more obvious in this aspect, as they not only do not have any defining features in their room or anything notable from dialogue besides being a bit mischievous, being into dark magic, and playing the piano, but they also have little to no autonomy when we are watching them, which makes it really hard for us to get a sense of who they really are. Ralsei, on the other hand, has this false identity as something to be used. The way he talks and behaves is like a servant. I want to help you, and I want to make you happy so that I can help this other thing come to fruition. That's basically his whole character. He has devoted his whole being just to be used for the prophecy, and he is confused when others have more of an identity than just that. He sees himself as a stepping stone for bigger things and people. If I can help the Lightners, they'll help the prophecy happen, and it'll all be good. This, in turn, makes it so that he has no idea who he really is when it comes down to things he's not offering himself for. Hanging out with friends as an equal? He doesn't know how to do it. Knowing what his personality is other than just being sweet, helpful, and docile? No clue. Ultimately, Chris and Ralsei are made up of the same stuff in a sense. Both are polar opposites, one being a recluse and only really caring for themselves, building up walls and finding solace and making life annoying for others, versus one whose whole identity is built in being the perfect tool and the perfect servant. Not even know what it looks like to just care for himself. So even while Ralsei may be the ideal version of Chris, it all goes to show that if you don't actually know what your purpose and identity, your true being really is, no matter how you change yourself to try and fit in, you will never really reach who you are meant to be. It will always be empty and false. Yeah, anyways, so that's the main theory. I may make some more. I may make no more. Depending on how well this goes, we'll see. I'm a full-time student and I'm making a comic on the side, or really that's my main thing. So this is kind of a side job is what I meant to say. Honestly, it's just kind of hard to find time to do this sort of kind of self-indulgent stuff for me. But if anyone really wants me to make some more, I'll try to find time. Feel free to also, give some pushback in the comments if you feel it's needed. I love friendly argumentation. I think I already said that, but I'll say it again. You're not gonna hurt my feelings unless you're rude about it. Don't be a jerk. But yeah, I don't mind being proved wrong if you have good evidence to support it. I just love this game. So as long as you love this game as much as I do, we good, homie. So yeah, have a lovely day, and thank you for your time.